Look, it's a flood.
Flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
My Spanish class
Oh, buddy.
has me
trials and
the rest
tribulations
of
of
our
community.
class. We had to play this interactive 3D game, quest game, all in Spanish.
Wait, interactive 3D. So, like, y'all strapping on Oculuses in Spanish class? What? Like, what do we...
No, so we get to our computer, right? And it's like, okay, a 3D interactive world. And we boot this thing up, and it looks like Sims on the PS2.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that kind of 3D. So, top-down perspective?
No. Third person, point and click to direct. And if you think it's easy to control, it's not.
No.
It's not.
No.
No, it's not.
Like fucking Pajama Sam, but
Yeah,
like...
there's no skip. There's no skip cutscenes option.
Of course not.
There is like
Why would there be? Why would there be?
there's
You're
no
here to
mute
learn
option.
Espanol.
I boot up and it's like, all right, you get to choose between the play as Victor,
Victor.
or Raquel. I think it was Raquel. And I'm like, okay, I'll choose Victor because assigned gender roles that I have been conditioned to.
Okay, look at you. Go ahead, conformist.
And it boots up and it's like, hola, tú es Victor.
You are.
And you walk in, and I swear to God, you played Resident Evil. You played Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation 1, the original version, right?
Yes.
Fixed camera,
Yes.
and like, it's straight up like that.
You want a
You're
headache?
walking,
You want a
fixed-
headache? Play that game after a fucking sugar rush for like 6 hours straight.
So, yeah, you walk in,
Staring at them fucking CRT monitors anyway.
you turn, and then you'll like walk into a door, and the door it will like zoom in, and the door will open, like it's straight up Resident Evil. And then you walk in, and it's a fixed camera, and you can like click on things and pick up stuff. By the way, I learned you need to pick up every goddamn thing you can. So I walked in, and I'm like, I'm gonna grab this orange
Everything
paint,
is-
I'm gonna grab
everything is
this
a
book,
note.
I'm gonna grab this pen, I'm gonna grab.
So what are you grabbing stuff for? Is it all like...
See, here's what I didn't know at the time, but I knew I could grab things, and I know that if you can grab things in a video game, there are never any consequences for that.
Okay, right. So you're just running around hoarding items. Some would say collecting.
And, you know, I go up, and they're like, you have to talk to the principal.
I was
so
gonna
talk
say,
to the
do they
principal.
tell you what the items
And the
are
principal,
in Spanish? I don't...
Yeah, un bolígrafo, los clip.
Okay. Continue on.
So, I gotta go and talk to the dean, and the dean is like, ¿Cómo estás? ¿A dónde tu roommate? And I see, here's the thing. Also, if you just like hit the buttons enough time, it would just fill in the answer for you.
Oh, okay. So you figured out how to, what do they call it? Speed run?
No, it did affect your grade. I didn't get a great grade on this. I passed. I passed for the audience. But anyway, so like, I walk in and
Spoiler alert.
I talked to my roommate named Tyler.
Tyler! Okay, Tyler.
From Colorado.
From Colorado.
Because, you know, this is a Spanish class thing, so
I mean,
you
they
have to learn.
Spanish people in Colorado.
Hola, me llamo Tyler.
Sí.
Es de Colorado.
So, you in a room with
Me
Tyler.
gusta Deion Sanders.
Okay.
So, all right, this thing really does look like a PlayStation 2 game programmed on Fiverr. There were stairs. You can't walk up the stairs, and it's not even. See, this is a really annoying
So
part.
I feel like this whole thing is just a rag on the poor developers of this video game who are just trying to get a head start, right? And it's like, you know, the game market is already tight as it is. Bethesda is like hemorrhaging workers because it's like, if you don't want to get sexually harassed, then, you know, you might as well go work
Well,
for,
they just
like...
let the modders finish the game for
I was
them.
gonna say, you can't go work at EA because they do the same kind of shit over there, right?
Ban Blizzard. But
So
I have problems.
So
So,
what
like,
do you do?
even worse. So, like, I go up. You walk up to a door, and it's like, está cerrado. And I'm like, oh, man, that must mean there's, like, a key anywhere. There's no fucking key. There's no key through this entire
So
goddamn
it was
quest.
just telling you in Spanish that there was no purpose in you
The first
trying
thing
to...
that Tyler says to me is, es un fantasma en la escuela. There's a ghost in the school.
What does that have to do with the game?
I don't know. There's a ghost in the school that Tyler said,
Okay.
and then he told me to go get paper and markers, specifically a black marker, an orange marker, a blue marker, and a yellow marker. And I didn't have to go look. You want to know why? Because I was walking around already and picked up all of those markers and was like, you know what? Un hoja de papel, Tyler. And he drew this picture of this ghost, and it looked like,
Oh, so he wanted the markers so he could draw you a picture of the school's ghost?
yes. So
That's trash.
then I had to turn around, and
Why
it
would
really
you
is
waste my
just
time
like,
like
click
that,
the thing.
Tyler?
It's like, turn 90 degrees, turn 90 degrees.
Okay.
Like, there is, your character can't turn and walk at the same time. They have to
Listen.
walk and then stop
Listen.
and then turn.
I think you've come to the conclusion that because you can program Doom onto anything, that coding games is easy, but I promise you, the people who worked on this Spanish game that you were trashing so hard worked really hard at it.
I'm not even at my biggest complaint yet. Not only, like, they give us this quest, and they're like, find all of this shit. Eventually, the reason this ghost is possessing the school is because there's a swan with a broken jade eye in the middle of the courtyard.
What
which
the
made me,
fuck?
Which made me
What the
really
fuck
think
do you-
about Resident Evil 2. Because I was like, oh, Resident Evil 2, you know, you're running away from zombies.
This is
Of course, you have
This
to
is a
assemble this, like, statue mural that looks like it's from 300 years ago that's been broken in 4 different places and now scattered about the police station.
So this is a lot to process. First of all, you lied. You said there was no storyline or structure to this game.
Oh, I
Yes,
mean,
there
there's a
is.
storyline and a structure,
Yes.
but it's disjointed and not connected because we're talking about a ghost and then
I was
eventually
gonna say
trying
like
to
a
put
ghost,
a swan together.
like a ghost. Of course. Duh. You are missing like the entire subtext of the game here. Oh my god, this game
Hold on.
is way more interesting than what you are alluding to.
I want to say
And
all
it's
of the
teaching you
NPCs, the
Spanish.
NPCs were worthless.
There's nothing more than I hate. There's nothing I hate more than a useless NPC.
No.
It's like, why is there even an option to talk to you? Why did the fucking development company make those poor developers make this code available? If you were going to just stare at me with fucking, like, what are the 3 dots called?
The ellipsis?
Yeah. Like,
Oh no,
why is
it
that
was even
there?
worse. These NPCs were rude. So like, I would get
Okay, I fuck with a rude
I would
NPC,
get my
though.
quest, right? Yeah, quest log. We had a
Kanye
quest log.
quest?
So
Doing your
I would get
Kanye
my
best.
quest, and then I would, like, you know, I'd wander around, and I'd like, I can't remember or realize where it was. Like, oh, maybe they'll give me directions. I go back and I talk to them, and they're like, "No quiero hablo con tú ahora," and I'm like, "You rude motherfucker!" That's
Is that
I don't
rude
want to talk to you.
right now? I don't want to say, is it rude to tell somebody you don't want to talk to them right now?
If it's literally every NPC in the room.
Maybe they thought you were obnoxious because they saw you just walk. Maybe they thought you were a thief, right? Like, that dude is a fucking kleptomaniac. Every store he's walked in, he has picked something up and taken with him. He doesn't even speak Spanish that good. You keep your eyes on him, right? And so then, you know, you walk, and now you walking around talking to people, you look like a fucking crackhead, right? You're like, hey man, I'm looking for a black and yellow marker, and an orange and blue marker. Have you seen?
Oh no, there was at one point that they were like, oh, we need orange paint. Crap, there's no orange paint, but there's blue paint and there's yellow paint. What do we do?
I don't know if you've taken an art class recently, but blue and yellow.
That is exactly what we did. The inventory, yes, there was an inventory. The inventory management was terrible.
Blue and yellow don't make orange though.
Blue and yellow make
green.
Oh, red and yellow. Red and yellow make
I'm
orange.
like, this nigga don't know art, yo. This nigga is tasteless.
Wow, way to make fun of me for being colorblind.
Basura.
I prefer to use the word handy-capable, asshole.
Wow. Now you're gonna fucking ability shame me.
Look, as John Oliver said, there's nobody who loves to use victimhood more than white people.
You're challenging my privilege. My privilege. Someone give me a glass of milk.
Anyway, so I had to put this fucking swan back together because this dumbass didn't know how to... I thought it was weird at the beginning when the dean was like, welcome to school. Here's a mysterious green glowing gemstone. I'm like...
The dean gave you a gemstone?
Yes!
That is very ominous. Also, if you know... So, wait. Was... Tyler looking for the gemstone the whole time? Is that the thing? And the dean had it and just gave it to you? And like Tyler's like,
Tyler creas un fantasma en la escuela. However, I did actually learn something. I learned creer is belief. So, or to believe. Actually. So whenever people are like, yo creo que sí, I'm like, oh, I finally know what that means. So I need to think. Tyler and all of the other fucking prick NPCs. Oh, do you know how fucking long it took me to find the paperclip? I'm playing this thing in like 240p because it's like built by Ubisoft and expecting everybody else to fucking patch the game for them. I was about this close to, no joke, Googling a walkthrough for this Spanish video game.
I need you to know that if Bethesda and Ubisoft made a Sims game, I would totally play that for all of the bugs. Can you imagine if the Sims had bugs like fucking Fallout does? That would be great. A fucking Sim just walks into the door and has got another Sim just like fucking
if somebody talks to me about
perpendicularly interjected into it, oh my god, that would be great.
Alright, would you be concerned for somebody's safety if they say they like speedrunning Sims?
Speedrunning Sims sounds like snorting Molly mixed with fucking methamphetamine.
I'd be like, this person's got some very sketchy views on the value of life here. They're like, no, I can do 4 times as many rounds. I feel like there are levels to that joke.
I feel like if people's behavior when playing The Sims should be studied by psychologists, because I feel like it's probably
I feel like it has been at this point
a better indicator of whether somebody is a sociopath or not than whether or not they harm small animals when they were kids.
Behavior of The Sims versus GTA.
No, you're supposed to be a menace in GTA. That's kind of like coerced behavior, right? Where it's like, if you're a menace in
what's it called?
Sims,
What's it called in the legal thing when you're set up?
Oh, entrapment?
Yeah. They're like entrapping you into a fucking mass shooting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, it's not like what is it, Postal, right? Where the point of the game is to be as heinous as possible. Like Grand Theft Auto, it's always like, I don't know, the world is kind of shitty. You could be shitty along with it if you really wanted
But we
to.
all love trying to get 6 stars.
But you can...
Once you get the tanks out, you're like, I did. Look at my burning world.
I was going to say, we've also done a round of Grand Theft Auto where you're like, I'm going to obey the traffic laws this time.
I honestly like doing that.
Of course you do. You sounded, the way you said that, it came from like the soul. Hank Hill would be very proud.
Look, I don't need any unnecessary star attention. I already have 20 kilos of coke in the back of the car, right?
But if you are a menace when
Ted.
you're playing The Sims, the level of sociopathy is rising up, and after an unnecessarily long intro, crashing through. This is Duds Doc.
Me llamo Ziggy.
And we are the
Los
Flood.
Flood.
Your favorite weekly pop culture digest, bringing the
Semana.
news happening around you and discussing how it's shaping the culture that defines you with our pop perspective.
To put the culture in context.
And make the mainstream make sense.
Because if we do not make sense, we don't make...
But we... Holla, and you can holla at us at the Patreon at the Flood Pod, and you can also find us at the Flood Pod on everything.
And that is on everything.
Literally everything. IG, Snapchat, Facebook,
League of
Instagram, X, or what is remaining of. We have a Twitch account. We had an AMP account, but AMP is shut down.
We had a Wisdom account, but they were too woke for us.
We got an email. It's at thefloodpod@gmail.com. So, you know.
They were too soft.
Yeah.
They were just too soft.
The TOS on Wisdom was kind of wild. I don't know what that app was about, but I do know that if you really bout it, you can find us. You ain't gotta dox us, Sniper Wolf. Psych, I love you. Don't be like that. It's, that whole Sniper Wolf thing is kind of crazy to me, by the way.
Has she been demonetized?
No, not yet. I do know that she is like transitioning. She is moving over to Snapchat primarily to talk with people. She has shut her comments down on YouTube. I still personally feel like they're dogpiling on the pretty girl, who may also be a mean girl. But like, there's worse
How do you
people.
feel about the theory that Katie was actually the villain in Mean Girls and not Regina George?
We'll have to discuss that a little bit later, just like we might discuss the Dream thing a little bit later, because you guys are letting that live while we're dogpiling on Sniper Wolf. And some other...
Sniper Wolf, by the way, is a... what reference?
Zoomer reference?
No, it is definitely a Gen X millennial reference.
Oh, you mean her,
the name,
gamer
Sniper
tag?
Wolf.
Yeah, her gamer tag. Well, it was her gamer tag.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yes, sorry. Safety shot. We got to talk about a potentially innovative new drink that could cut your blood alcohol content in half by...
Or it could be a giant scam.
We got to talk the Marvels and the controversy that stirred and the disruption and shaking of faith in the MCU.
We have some news on 3 pillars of hip-hop and some concerning news for one of the pillars of anime.
We also have some more comic book movie news, as well as a whole heaping discussions of cultural relevancy, but you know how we like to get things rolling here.
And this week's hit on the algorithm is...
Actually, it's still Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift for 6 weeks in a row, but Drake and J. Cole just dropped that first-person shooter music video, and boy, the streams is lit already. That first of all, video crazy. Drake dropped the For All the Dogs Spooky Hours, so the Drake version of For All
Aubrey's version.
Aubrey's version. There you go. I like that. Aubrey's version.
For the dogs, Aubrey's version.
We see you, Drizzy. What did I say? This nigga is Shang's son, right? I like that, Taylor. I'll take that. Anyway. Oh man. And him and J. Cole announced that let me make sure I get this right, because I swear
Are
I
those two
heard...
motherfuckers gonna tour together?
Yes. And I think that there's like a joint tape, maybe. Yeah, no, it's just it's all a Blur tour, cause
That sounds like Drake's last 3 albums.
Wow, Zig coming in like that Ukrainian sniper breaking fucking world records. Did you hear about that? That Ukrainian soldier just recently broke the world record for the longest sniper shot ever on a Russian soldier.
So how far was the distance?
Yeah, no, it was like 2.63 or 2.36 miles. My dyslexia is kicking in, so don't quote me on that.
D is for
conversion.
lesdexia.
But that's crazy. Yes, some people are saying that it took like over or close to 10 seconds for the bullet to actually reach its target.
That would never hit a Smash player.
At that range,
That would never hit a Smash
at
player.
that arc, it kind of, yeah, you kind of gotta like arc it like that. And apparently
That is 600 frames. There's no excuse to get hit.
yeah, and the kind of gun he used too is also a very like high caliber gun, which I guess people were arguing isn't a very typical used sniper caliber.
What, like a 40 caliber?
No, it was fucking much higher than that. It was like a heavier round, right? Which is another reason why people think it made its target, actually, because the way that it had to be arced and all that stuff. And lots of physics, blah blah blah. Impressive shot. Brains go. So yeah, no, that's crazy. And once again, it was a Ukrainian soldier on a Russian soldier. So yeah, you know, Putin can't be super happy about the incursion that was supposed to only last like 3 days, and is now going on close to
2 years?
2 years. 2 years.
At least one.
And now they are literally ranking up high scores. Dog, like.
Ukraine not to be fucked with.
Let's remember that they like started this defense with like fucking riverboats. Like
If
they
you-
didn't have like.
If you get into
not
our
that
Discord,
they didn't have real military shit, but like.
if you get into our Discord, there's a guy, Mr. Sultai, aka I call him Mr. Bug, because nerd moment. Sultai is what Wizards of the Coast deemed the color combination of black, blue, green, and then blue is the initial that they use in Magic is U, because black is already B, so if you spell it out, it's B-U-G, so it's Mr. Bug. I refuse to call it Sultai.
Wow, real deep cut nerd moment there. Listen, you
Anyway,
only get that here. That's culture and context, baby. Keep going.
But Mr. Bug lives in Slovenia, and whenever I talk to him,
shout out to friend of the pod, Mr. Bug.
when I talk to him, I get to have a very different worldview about everything, and he lives.
That's why I like to watch the news and Telemundo.
Like a
sometimes.
small country in the former Eastern Bloc.
Right. So former Soviet subjects, right?
I apologize, Mr. Bug, if I misquote you or anything, but we were having a discussion on basically like democracy versus autocracy, and he said, well, I mean, if you have somebody whose heart is in the right place, they can manage all of these people. I'm like, you are right, but we live in a country, like us, live in a country that is so widespread and so diverse that it's really hard to do that. No matter what you do, it's going to piss someone off.
People argue that that's the reason why democracy is doomed to fail in this country, actually. Right, that this country is so diverse that's why a lot of like separatists argue that the country needs to break up, because 50 states of such cultural diversity is too much to manage for one federal governing body.
Meanwhile, the South is like, we don't want to be a part of your 50 states of gay.
More like 50 states of, hey, let me subjugate who the fuck I want. Anyway,
50 States of Gay was a good one.
Speaking of subjugation, Cassie came out recently, and dropped a huge bombshell in what may be some of the most, not surprised kind of news. She alleged that Diddy was very abusive during their time together, and some very, very disgusting allegations that I'm actually not really going to sit here and list for you all.
In this week's edition of
Hot Goss.
Sloppy Celebrity Gossip.
Yeah, no, it had all the... Damn, dude. I'm sorry, the good person in me stopped me from referring to that the way I was gonna say it had all the greatest hits, like, you know, the rape allegations.
Can I go? Can I do another deep cut?
Is this appropriate?
So Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh God. Go for it. You already opened up the
Yu Yu
can of worms.
Hakusho, the Sensui, the Chapter Black saga.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And you know, like, Sensui was the spirit detective, and he busted in on this one thing that warped his whole, like, worldview. He saw, like, all of these rich people, like, torturing humans and drinking blood and, like, having sex with, like, animals and shit like that. That's what I imagine Diddy does.
Wow. Well, I mean, if you ask Cassie, you're not far off from the truth. You know, there was no, like, bestiality or anything like that included in her allegations, although, you know, some of the stuff that she
would not be shocked if there's, like, vampire shit.
Yeah,
we already know there's gay shit.
You know, oddly enough, she didn't say anything about this nigga being gay.
Because that's what he's most concerned about. I say that as a joke, but that might actually be true.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say you not hitting on something right now, because, like, she hasn't...
Do you think Diddy would be more okay with a reputation as a murderer or as someone who is gay?
Oh, no. Diddy, as of today, I believe their case, the lawsuit she filed against him, has been settled. Yeah, no, Diddy acted on that pretty quickly, which leads me to believe that Cassie was telling a whole lot more than the truth.
And by that, you mean the truth
and holding back.
Yeah.
Diddy was like, hey, yo, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? I already gotta quiet this nigga. I already gotta give this nigga Keefe D the Jamie Foxx treatment without people catching on. I was wondering how long it was going to take for Cassie to catch the Jamie Foxx treatment, but I guess that would be too obvious, right? So he just settled in court with her, and she probably...
Somebody's got to check Jamie Foxx's storage unit for all of those old 35 millimeter all the 35 millimeter tapes.
Yeah, listen, that was quick. That was a quick settlement case, especially for her about to do, you know, I blame this on Jada, actually. It's like, no, I don't. Cassie is a victim, and if what Cassie is saying is true, which I am, you know, alleged to believe.
Well, it seems to be public opinion is inclined to believe.
I feel like Brother Love got some fucking splaining to do, folk. Like, that's, you know, you can't be out here like, let's change the game. We need to, like, God damn it, dude. It's like every time.
Usher was 15.
Every time these people come out, and it's not fair how predictable it gets, right? Like, and this is the cultural aspect of this I want to touch on. Well, there's 2 points here that I want to touch on.
The culture and context. Oh, shit.
It is fucking baffling to me, whether it is like a Republican who is anti-sex, or it is a Catholic priest who is anti-homosexuality, or if it is somebody who is like preaching like brotherly love, over the top, the overzealous, right? Always, dude, it's like such a huge fucking tell at this point that I don't understand how it keeps happening.
Kevin Samuels was smart and died on top.
He was called out too, though, for his virtue signaling ass.
Of course he was,
right? Like in the very beginning, but like
alpha pods be like, the brightest stars always burn out the fastest.
There was that fucking Republican senator, just recent. I think he was a senator. He was not a senator. He was a preacher. He was from Alabama, and he was outed as a transgender curvy girl. So his online persona was exposed. He was doxxed, and after he was doxxed, he shot himself.
Yep. The Catholic in me relates.
Wow. Care to elaborate?
Shame.
Oh, so...
Like if I was Cersei Lannister in that episode of Game of Thrones,
But you're not...
I would have slammed my fucking head against the bricks, like, after a block and a half.
But you are... I mean, to the best of my knowledge, my co-host is not online living his repression through a secret identity, right?
I am not, no.
You know...
I do it on stage at stand-up. By the way, you can see me several nights a week in Baltimore.
I keep making reference to the Dream thing, but I don't know if you know, by the time this comes out, it'll probably be old news, but the latest allegations are Dream has been, the Minecraft streamer, has been accused of sending sexual text messages to his underage fans, and this came about after he had... Dude, this story is wild. Once again,
How old is he?
Dream is like 20. Hold on, he's in his 20s.
This sounds like a lot of trends that I had a light bulb moment. Like because there's a lot of allegations with like Warped Tour bands like this from over the years. Like, people in their young 20s who are surrounded by people who are within like 5 years of them younger, and they're like, oh, it's fine, but don't realize that it's like not.
Yeah, he was born in 1999. So
that makes him 24.
Yeah, so he has had groomer allegations thrown at him in the past. Lots of people once again feel like there is an unnecessary hype train around hating on Dream. Because he is a bit cringe at times.
I mean, so local comic Teddy K said a joke recently that had me fucking dying. And then I realized the truth of it. He said, you know what? I didn't realize that dating in high school was so hard because I was competing with pedophiles.
Damn, dude. But
the truth of that,
it's not a lie, right? But also, what is it with these dudes who, like, you know, the reason I bring Dream up is because he is a guy whose audience is predominantly kids, right? And it's not uncommon for those kinds of things to exist, right? Like
Super Smash Brothers players.
Yeah, exactly, right? And when I saw this being discussed on Vosh was, you know, kind of taking the angle that, not taking the angle, but, you know, presenting the perception of these guys being, you know, previous members of the social outcast category, right? So when they experience this newfound fame and notoriety and they get all this attention, their stunted growth kind of contributes to a condition where they create an environment where they go after their younger fan base, right? Because they are, you know, that is the group of people that have given them this popularity and this fame, and they are also socially stunted in the area of development where they experienced, you know, this social pariah persona that they grew into, that somehow also facilitated in them developing this outlet that has now given them all this attention.
Yeah, because
right?
they think they went from Judd Nelson to James Dean.
I mean, essentially, and it's
like, there you go. For the cultural reference for people, Judd Nelson played the outcast in The Breakfast Club, who everybody thought was scum, and then James Dean played Rebel Without a Cause, who was the hottest thing of the 1950s.
Made t-shirts with rolled up cigarette sleeves look like the thing to do.
Yeah. Michael Jackson was doing a throwback to James Dean with a red jacket.
Michael Jackson was actually doing a throwback to dude Fosse. Damn it!
Look, don't correct me. I was just making a real quick connection that was going to be easily disprovable.
The reason why I bring up Dream, and you know, I was hoping you would bring up the Smash community.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Gross. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Not pausing.
It's so fucking common. It's wild, right?
It happened a lot with bands on the Warped Tour in the 2000s and 2010s.
To bring it all back, right? The reason why we talk about Dream, talking about the Alabama Preacher, because with this Diddy shit, you know, it's just all too common for people who are taking these extreme positions to be, you know, clearly projecting or deflecting from something that they are hiding. Which makes it even crazier when people like fucking Slim Thug, who I literally just shouted out last episode, thanks, buddy, to take wild positions like, oh, if that's really what's going on, then why didn't she come forward sooner? It's just crazy to me that, you know, she would wait so long to say something. I think what it really is shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Yes, nigga, all that money in your face will make you really second guess a lot of crazy shit. And there was a lot of crazy shit, but it'll make you second guess a lot of crazy shit. I mean, Diddy is goddamn near a fucking billionaire, dude.
Yep.
Yes. So when a billionaire is like, hey, I brought these male prostitutes over and we all gonna party tonight, you would be like...
Dwight Howard says, sounds good. I'm into some freaky shit.
Yeah, Cassie, however, was like, I don't know. And Diddy was like, bitch, I'm a billionaire. And she was like, you know what? No, that's fucked up. And that's okay. As a human being, it's okay if you went with something you weren't necessarily down for at the moment and you decided later on that, you know what, I wasn't down for that.
Did you really need Slim Thug to say anything about that?
He didn't have to. He didn't have to, which is why people went and pulled up his old fucking Craigslist ad where he was hunting for Strange and pulled his nipple out. This nigga pulled a nipple out. You don't have to go looking for it. I didn't go looking for it. It made it on its way through the timeline. I'm telling you not to go looking for it. It's really not worth it. Everybody out here doing weird shit. Can you stop doing weird shit with people who are not down for the weird shit? It's tons of people out here. Literally billions. What did J. Cole just tell y'all? If she's not down with it, then run along.
My point in saying this is, and this is something I've seen in media in general, you know how people are like, not taking action is still an action in itself. In scenarios that is true, right?
When you are being physically abused, that is not or mentally abused, that's not the case, though.
I'm just gonna say, sometimes there are scenarios where you don't have to say anything because nobody's checking for you. The one thing that always comes to my mind whenever something like this happens is the George Floyd murder. Buffalo Wild Wings releasing a statement. I'm like, Buffalo Wild Wings, nobody's checking for you.
Shut the fuck up.
You don't need to say anything.
And this is not a Laura Ingraham shut up and dribble kind of moment, right? Like, you are not adding anything to the discussion, and I do feel like we are, because we exist in the social media age, right? Like, everybody feels like they can add to the discussion.
But I mean, like, you see where I'm coming from. It's just like,
yes.
It's like Buffalo Wild Wings. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. Like, we don't need to hear from you.
No, yeah, exactly. Like,
who gives a fuck what Ja Rule thinks at a time like this, nigga? This is ridiculous.
Personally, nobody asked you, Slim Thug. Nobody said, hey, what does this ex-Southern rapper, recent real estate mogul think about the Diddy Cassie allegations? Oh, well, I think she shouldn't wait. So shut the fuck up. First of all, that's a tired ass take. Yo, if Saucy Santana took your ass, like she was planning, like they're planning to do to DJ Academics after they beat the fuck out of DJ Academics, and we're gonna elaborate on that a little bit more, because that's also a wild situation that I don't think Zig knows about, and I don't blame him for not knowing about, because it's messy hip-hop gossip. Bro, how many men do you know, first of all, because sexual assault doesn't just happen to women, and if you fellas talk to your friends a little bit more, you might know that, right? How many your friends, Zig, do you think is, and y'all white, right? Like, white men talk about their feelings more. How many of your friends have ever, or do you think would ever, admit to being sexually assaulted or abused if that was actually happening to them? Because I can tell you, for me,
or like a one-on-one.
I can tell you, for me personally, not just my white friends, all my friends, my male friends, and I think if any of my male friends had been sexually assaulted or abused, only one of them would tell me, and they would have to be so fucking wasted that they could immediately the next day be like, dog, what? I told you what? Oh my god, dude, I was so drunk, I don't even know why. I don't remember saying anything. Bro, that's crazy. I would never, what? No, not honestly. And, you know, honestly, Zig, you are a recovering Catholic, so I'm just saying, like...
I was about to say, I thought you might actually just say me. But I will tell you, it's like running through my friend group, like...
if any moment was going to make us go viral, it would have been you admitting to sexual assault just now.
No, I would be admitting to be a victim.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Not sexually assaulting somebody, but being a victim of sexual.
I have one friend, I think, who would be honest.
Oh my god. I cannot wait for you to go back and listen to this shit, because your next words out of your mouth after I said you were going to admit to being sexually assaulted were, I have. And I don't know if that was a Freudian slip, but go ahead and tell me about your friend, air quotes.
I was about to say, I have one friend who would probably tell me if they were sexually assaulted. How
many hate comments do you think we're gonna get for handling the discussion of sexual assault very callously?
2, given our YouTube views.
No, what's not funny, however, is...
the fact that we only get 2 comments on our YouTube videos?
I was going to say Diddy sexually assaulted Cassie. That's not very shiny suit of you.
How many celebrities do you think Diddy has touched in their no-no place?
Ask Christopher Williams.
Jamie Foxx.
I thought you were gonna
say
Usher.
who was on the interview with him on Drink Chips?
Oh, Fab? Dude, if there was ever a time that I thought Diddy might be gay, it was that fucking Drink Champs interview, dog, with Fabulous. And when he was like, when we gonna party, daddy?
Yeah, daddy.
When we gonna party, daddy? Come on, you don't never party with me no more.
Yeah, we partied that one time. No, but you didn't party.
You don't party with me. And Fabulous was like, nigga, would you leave Cassie alone? God damn it, that girl does not know. Seriously, it's not a fucking joke.
How many times has Diddy been married?
Hold on, I really have to stop right now and be like, it is not a joke. I know we are trying to bring some levity to the discussion, but there's really no light way of getting around the fact that now that this case has been settled out of a real court trial, this will probably get swept under the rug, like a lot of other allegations do. And we have seen the behavior in the past from Diddy. I mean, I feel like, you know, we covered on the pod a couple of, if not a year ago, the whole him throwing her and her cell phone out of the fucking car thing. Like, it's...
We even covered Diddy almost beating somebody up dressed as Joker.
He has slapped Drake, he has slapped J. Cole, he has slapped Kid Cudi.
He put a hit out on Tupac, allegedly.
And Kendrick Lamar. So
He slapped Kendrick?
Yeah.
Or he put a hit out on Kendrick?
no, he slapped Kendrick Lamar.
All the fucking people to slap.
So Diddy has, Diddy is known for putting his hands on people. He had Shine take that gun charge. I'm not saying that Diddy needs to get help, but there's clearly a reason why he changed his name and whole fucking persona
Multiple
to
times?
Brother Love. His most recent
Puff Daddy, Puffy, Diddy, P. Diddy,
an interview.
Sean Combs,
with-
Sean Puffy Combs.
An interview was just circling just recently, went viral, of J-Lo talking about the Puffy era, which was also the era that ended in, the fucking shooting in the club incident. I don't know. It looks like the reckoning may be coming for Diddy.
Sloppy personal track record of New York businessmen bringing about their fall of the business empire?
It looks like the reckoning may be coming for Diddy, just like the reckoning may be finally coming for the MCU. How is that for an uncomfortable transition? This time you don't have to ask Cassie. God damn it. Not gonna make
Should we ask Brie?
sexual assault jokes. There go, like...
The NPR sponsorship?
Well, there goes the NPR sponsorship for sure. And I was gonna say probably our, 4 female listeners.
Yeah, there goes our For Her sponsorship. For hers.
The Marvels isn't doing too great. Right now, as of the moment...
That's a movie, by the way, everybody. Starring Brie Larson and 2 people from Disney Plus shows you probably didn't watch.
Wow. First of all, hold on. That's not fair. One Disney Plus show you probably didn't watch because lots of people watch WandaVision.
Yeah.
Marvel's currently has a 6.2 rating out of 10 on IMDb and has a, very fittingly, 62% on Rotten Tomatoes, which has also been recently exposed to might potentially be a pyramid scheme. Not a pyramid scheme, just a scam.
Whoa, my God, it's like there's levels to this shit. You and I know, bitch, in context.
Lots of neckbeards are very unhappy with the most recent MCU edition, aka The Marvels, directed by Nia DaCosta, starring Brie Larson, Tiana Parrish, and Iman. I'm sorry, Iman, I'm not gonna try and pronounce your name right now. I didn't mean that to sound...
I-M-A-N?
No,
I was about to say Iman, but not that Iman.
Villani. It's probably Villani. If I butchered that, I tried. After I said I wouldn't, but I tried. Anyway.
Iman, but not that Oman.
So, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Photon? Yes, Photon. And Nia DaCosta of Candyman fame, right? She was the director of the most recent remake of the Candyman franchise, And I have not seen the Marvels yet, but lots of people are saying this movie is signaling the downfall for the MCU. Some of the complaints I've heard is it just feels like empty and soulless, and that's just, what people are saying about Brie Larson, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've never been really a fan of Brie Larson. I think the whole integration of... Because Carol Danvers is an awesome character, but she's also very much of a leader. Like, she was up there with, Captain America brainstorming shit for the new Avengers during the Brian Michael Bendis run in the 2000s.
Lots of people, from what I see, lots of people's complaint about Brie Larson's portrayal of Captain Marvel is she comes off as very cold and stoic in a way that is unlikable.
And they don't give her the military backstory, like to the depth that really sinks in.
I mean, they kind of did,
but not enough.
Captain Marvel movie,
but not
right?
enough.
But she hasn't had the character development to give her the cold shoulder attitude that she gives everything, right? Because from her outside features, meaning the movies that she's in outside of her own franchise, right, she does have a very kind of cold persona, right, which is just like, I'm so much more OP. It comes off as I'm so OP compared to the rest of y'all.
She ruined Endgame by just being so OP.
They argue that that's the reason why they held off on introducing her character in the movie.
Like, she just like, oh shit, we're about to lose. Carol Danvers, Deus Ex Machina.
I don't even really feel like they used her as a Deus Ex Machina, right? Like, I feel like that was fucking Steve Rogers being able to lift Mjolnir, right? Like, that somehow...
That's canon.
That somehow shifted the tide. I mean, Carol Danvers being fucking strong enough to fucking one-punch Thanos is also canon.
I would
right?
say Steve Rogers is a better fighter than Thor with no powers.
Spider-Man is technically the best fighter in the fucking MCU. He has beaten all of the characters in
That's fine. You give Cap Mjolnir and he's
Gambit. Anyway.
Gambit's like a cheat code.
Anyway,
Gambit's literally a cheat code. Like Gambit, Storm, Iceman.
Speaking of
Jean Grey, they're all cheat codes.
Speaking of X-Men, there was also speculation that somewhere in the opening credits or end credits there was a lingering on a certain letter that kind of got people thinking that the next step is the final introduction of the X-Men into the MCU, because I do believe that Disney has finally secured the rights.
Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is going to be in the new Deadpool.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? Because Spider-Man still exists in this weird gray area between the ownership of Sony.
Yeah, I know. He
right?
exists so much in limbo that there is a Morbius movie, a Venom movie sequel, a Craven movie, a Madam Web series.
I mean, I'm low-key
but no
excited.
Spider-Man in any of them.
I'm low-key excited for the Madam Web series. I'm also, here's me standing on, I'm also perfectly fine with digging into the fucking vast library that is comic book media for other stories to tell. Like, one of the things that was so impactful about the MCU was the fact that Marvel had sold off their most popular properties, right? So they had nothing else to do but rely on their D tier, B tier, and C tier characters, right? I don't know why I did that out of order, but the whole fact of the matter is do you think they would have made an Iron Man movie if they didn't have to?
They had to go to the bench.
Exactly. And that bench brought them fucking rings like Michael, right? Name them. Tyson, Jackson, Jordan. Anyway,
Tyson, Jackson, Jordan, Brady. Gotta get a little cream in there.
And there's no...
A little cream in there.
It was the Michaels. Anyway. Feel me. Now that we are in a place where the superhero bubble is kind of waning, right? Like, it is definitely... I'm quite surprised it hasn't burst yet. James Gunn has jumped ship over to DC, and I do feel like that DC getting its shine may potentially breathe some life back into the superhero bubble.
So here's my thing with DC. I feel like DC is almost bifurcated, where it is DC movies and Batman movies.
But that's how it was.
I feel like the Batman,
yeah,
was an amazing movie, but I don't know if they're gonna put Robert Pattinson in the James Gunn.
No, I think for whatever reason, I feel like that Batman run exists as its own standalone,
which
thing.
I'm fine with. I'm also fine with that. Batman functions well in a world without other superheroes.
And that's kind of the thing about Batman and Superman, right? Like, they do not need DC to be recognizable properties. And the only property that really had that ability over at Marvel is the X-Men and Spider-Man.
I feel like with Batman and Superman, when you're telling a Batman or a Superman story, if either one is isolated in their universe, it becomes believable. This one man is a Superman who can do fucking anything, and everybody else is just a fucking normie. Or this one guy has some serious fucked up childhood trauma and PTSD and enough money to really take out his therapy out on criminals. But I will not let you call him a fascist symbol.
Technically, both are fascist symbols because the original Superman comic was called the Ubermensch.
But if it's when you start integrating those two stories that it gets sloppy into comic book world.
Can I juxtapose that with the fact that the two of the main characters of X-Men are fucking not whitewashed, but like
main characters or most powerful?
White-splained. No, white main characters.
Well, Cyclops is boring as fuck.
So Professor X and Magneto are supposed to be white caricatures of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King.
Whoa, a white guy and a Jewish guy. Magneto is Jewish.
Magneto is supposed to be Jewish?
He's a Holocaust survivor.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that's like
okay,
that also is
largely
super integral to his character. He is a Holocaust survivor.
So that's weird because like Magneto is also supposed to be Malcolm X, so the fact that Magneto's character is Jewish and the character or the person that inspired him is a Muslim is a whole nother dichotomy I'm not ready to unpack right now. But
I don't think Stan Lee was either when he made Magneto. But
you do know that Stan Lee and Jack Kirby have both stated
consciously did it as MLK and
yes,
and X.
Right. Which, in juxtaposition to both Superman and Batman being fascist authoritarian icons, is super, super crazy.
And yet it's DC Comics.
So, speaking of Superman, the new Lex Luthor to David Cornsweet's Superman has been announced, and it is none other than Nicholas Hoult. If you don't recognize Nicholas Hoult, you should, because he's been in just about everything, including the X-Men movies. He played our favorite Professor Hank McCoy, right? The Beast. He was also in Warm Bodies. He played Peter in The Great, the Hulu series about Catherine the Great.
I just have to say, David Cornsweet looks like Henry Cavill and Tom Wellington did the fusion dance.
Nicholas Hoult looks like, he might be a pretty fitting Lex Luthor.
Yeah, no, I can see him as Luthor. I was honestly surprised. I didn't see him. I saw him and I was like, that's not Dr. Hank McCoy. That guy's too scrawny.
Better than,
I needed somebody more masculine, like Topher Grace.
Who was... Oh my god. When they made Topher Grace...
There are levels to that joke.
Yeah, when they made him Venom, I was like, bro, what the fuck are we doing, right? Just like when they made Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor in the fucking last Superman movie, I was like, bro, what the fuck? Yeah, no, I'm all for Nicholas Hoult if it means we don't have any more Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor. Yeah, so I don't know if you've seen Nicholas Hoult in anything from what I've seen so far.
I remember him from X-Men.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, from what I've seen so far, he's a pretty good actor. I don't know much about David Cornsweet or Cornsweet on the other hand.
He looks like Clark Kent. That's all that matters. Like when it comes to Superman, I feel like the appearance is probably the most important thing.
He does look like a younger version of Henry Cavill, and I'm kind of mad about that, right? Because I'm like, you could have just let Henry Cavill finish the job he started.
And we all love Henry Cavill. Like, all of us.
Right, but it's fine, because Henry Cavill is going to be doing
King of the Nerds.
Also, yeah, he's going to be doing a reboot of Highlander.
We have been chronicling Henry Cavill's pursuit to be King of the Nerds.
Did we talk about
We
the
did.
reboot of Highlander?
Yes.
We did.
Yes,
okay.
we did.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm totally fine with it, because I also feel like...
He already knows the swordplay.
Listen, if we're not going to make Idris Elba the next James Bond, then it better be fucking Henry Cavill.
Yeah, no, like I said, Henry Cavill is... We had this discussion. I'm like, when I think of James Bond, I think of, like, Pierce Brosnan. Like, the
Also,
dashing, British, handsome white guy with the slick back hair.
is
and
Henry Cavill British?
I'm sure he can do the accent. I think he actually is. No, he's not. I don't think he is, but I could totally see him being like he's a great Bond.
He's totally British.
Is he really?
Yes. Yes. You know.
All right.
okay.
So Henry Cavill, yeah, Henry Cavill should be Bond.
First of all, that blows my mind. Just like when I found out that
Idris Elba was British.
No, Daniel Kaluuya. When I found out Daniel Kaluuya was British, I was like, God damn it, dude! What the fuck? What the fuck? David Cornsweet, however, is not British. He is American. And for Superman, I feel like Cornsweet is fitting.
Yeah. Yeah. Corn sweat.
Yes, it's Cornsweet.
Yes, he would insist on the 3 syllables, I'm sure.
I'm sure. I am absolutely certain.
Corn sweat? No, it's corn sweat.
And on that note, we'll be right back at you guys with another episode.
After this break.
Look, it's a flood.
The flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Wait, why can't we talk about Black Sabbath?